We are back here live on Gone Fishkin. I'm very stoked right now to have two people who are making a change right now in the mental health space and the wellness space. I'm very excited to have Phoebe and George from Fungi on the show right now. What's up?
How's it going?
How are you?
So happy to be here.
We're good. Yeah.
I love that you guys had the reaction. Everyone has the reaction of when I get back on air, as opposed to my monotone, hey guys, what's up? Hey, thanks for coming. Hell yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming by.
Of course. Thanks for inviting us.
Of course. Been a huge fan of you guys for a second now, and I'm very excited because you guys have just launched a product that is a product I haven't heard of before, I haven't seen before, but it's everything that the retail space in the last 10 years has told me CBD is, so I cannot wait to try it. So I don't want to mispronounce anything, I don't want to missay anything, but I believe it's called Kanna, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So tell me about this this product Kanna, or this plant, because dude, like from the description and everything, it's like this is everything I need in my life and everything that might get my mind right.
It is. Phoebe introduced me to Kanna almost a few years back now, and it has changed my life. It has changed a few different other people's life, like more than a few different other people, a lot of people's life since I've seen it. I would love Phoebe to kind of give you guys the background of her story and how she introduced it to me.
Well, sure. Thank you. So let's start with what Kanna is. So Kanna is this incredible succulent or plant from South Africa, and it's classified as an empathogen. Empathogens are a class of any substance, psychoactive substance, that increases feelings of love and joy and empathy. It increases feelings of trust and connection. Some other empathogens that people may know of are MDMA and MDA, or sassafras, but Kanna is 100% legal. Some people call it nature's MDMA or a legal empathogen, but when combined with other plants and herbs and mushrooms like we have in our products, it is absolutely incredible for not just helping anyone that's struggling with their mental health, but bringing about a sense of calm, creating feelings of euphoria. It enhances your mood, it relieves pain, it helps improve sleep. And for anyone who's California sober or not, but just sober curious, it can be amazing for a night out or just when you're feeling extra stressed on like the 405.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now with Kanna, now what's the most common form of it? Is it like more of like in a gummy or a chocolate, or is this a drink type product or a powder that you mix in? Like, how do people consume it typically?
So I'm really excited to say I think we're some of the first people to come out with Kanna gummies and chocolates. But oh my gosh,
Biggie's so hyped. He's like,
Biggie's like, oh my gosh, give me the Kanna.
Yeah.
But Kanna.
Biggie boy, get over here. Get over here.
Kanna traditionally in South Africa, it's the root that you're going to be chewing, but in modern forms, we're seeing it in powdered in capsules, most typically. Then you can also get it in tinctures. We have another company called Function where we have it in a tincture, and it's absolutely amazing. But more and more, we're seeing different retail CPG applications. We're seeing more drinks with it, and we're going to start seeing a lot more products. But we're really happy to believe that we're some of the first people to do like a CPG retail-ready chocolate and gummy with Kanna.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
and now you can't take too much of it, right?
So technically you can, but it's pretty non-toxic. Mm-hmm. So the contraindications are pretty far and few in between. St. John's wort, but anyone who's an herbalist who knows that plant, it doesn't play well with anything. And then SSRIs and MAOIs. So you'd want to talk to your doctor, but it's really, really safe across the board. You can ratchet up the amount that you're taking pretty safely. Awesome. If it's too much, you might just feel a little nauseous. You might feel a little overwhelmed or dizzy, but it's not something like alcohol. It's very similar to mushrooms in that it can be incredible for your mental health. You can take a lot, and you're going to feel really good the next day. You're not going to have a hangover. And over time, Kanna actually regulates your amygdala, which is the part of your brain responsible for your fight or flight. So over time, you're less reactive to your stressors. You're less reactive to stressful environments, and you feel just more equipped to handle life on a day-to-day basis.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty awesome to me. It's sold.
Yeah, it is. It's cool because it's something that it's a powerful tool or plant that we can utilize to replicate the experience of a true microdose of psilocybin or MDMA. And it happens to be fully legal. So this is like our path of making medicine like this more accessible to people. And allowing people to feel something and feel good legally ahead of psychedelic legalization. So that's kind of like where we're going with it.
Exactly. And, there's a lot of people. We live in California, in Southern California, in LA, for everyone listening, where, we are pretty open to psychedelics, to, everything. We're usually first movers. But for a lot of the country, and even a lot of people in other parts of the state, they're really nervous about legalization. They're nervous about something psychedelic. So how beautiful is it that we can offer something that has that same instant magical effect of psychedelics, but it's 100% legal, so people already feel safe about taking it and exploring it. We think that there's some huge potential for people that want to take that first step into psychedelics for mental health, and it helps get them over the hump because it's not arresting your system. It's really soft. It's opening up your heart. You feel just a lot of like tenderness and love and compassion, not just for yourself, but for others in the world around you. And then from there, maybe you can take that first step into like a microdose of psilocybin, which we all know has incredible potential for mental health. And I really believe, and I know George agrees with me, the combination of a microdose of psilocybin and Kanna has huge, huge potential for mental health.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's basically like a natural hippie flip.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I don't know what a hippie flip is or I didn't know what a hippie flip was till today, but I have Fleetwood Mac on deck to listen to while I experiment with this. So
it's going to be a good time.
Hell yeah. Now, I want to talk about Kanna in the sense that it's legal and it's kind of crazy. Like I personally have never done MDMA on purpose. I accidentally did it one time and apparently I had a great time, according to everyone around me. But I wanted to die the next day. But also with mushrooms too. Like it's kind of crazy that truffles in some capacity are legal in Amsterdam, and I think psilocybin might be legal in Canada now.
It's not fully legal, but it's getting there, and then it's legal in Portugal and Jamaica. So like interesting laws, and we're seeing decriminalization, I think, in 5 counties in California already, and then in tons of cities across the United States. And that's not legalization, but it's definitely the first steps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if we look to Canada, we're seeing a lot of mushroom shops pop up, and we're seeing a lot of potential for people being open to now like trying it. Which is really, really exciting.
And then also, I think MDMA is legal in Australia as a couples therapy drug.
Yes. So they legalized it for therapeutic use, which is amazing. But what I love about what's going on in Australia is that anyone who's administering it has to do a whole year of psychedelic experiences. So they really understand what's going on within that space, because I think, at least in the United States, we're seeing, some therapists and facilitators who've never really had these experiences in a therapeutic setting, and now they're trying to guide someone. And, anyone out there who's taking bigger doses of mushrooms and MDMA for therapeutic use, like, really having a guide or someone that can help you is important.
For sure. And now with Kanna and having it legal here in the U.S. and you guys being able to facilitate it, now I feel like this could definitely help people out with the whole therapeutic use of it, and maybe it could even start getting prescribed by doctors or suggested.
Totally. I mean, I've worked one-on-one with a few doctors who are prescribing it.
Yeah.
Not from like, I'm going to write you a script, but, oh, hey, check out this plant. I think it could really help you. And Kanna's already been pharmaceuticalized. It was pharmaceuticalized, I believe, in the late 90s by a company called Zembrin. So they made a pharmaceuticalized extract. It's in capsules. You can get it. It's prescribed in South Africa all the time. And a lot of people in the United States are using it. And it's incredible, the potential for it. I also love that Kanna can be used in conjunction with coming out of a massive dose or a massive experience of psychedelics, whether it's something, like psilocybin. I sometimes say ayahuasca and LSD, and coming out of a massive dose of MDMA. The way that it's work on your serotonin receptor sites, and because it's functioning as an SSRI, freeing up more serotonin, in these smaller doses, it can actually help you feel better and help you integrate more easily back into daily life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the CBD of when you smoke too much in a way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Well, you speak more to that. I don't really smoke. I'm not cool enough.
Well, most people, like, if you smoke too much weed or THC, CBD can kind of take you out of that and bring it down.
Then totally.
That's awesome. That's good to know. So this is literally a life-saving product to some people.
I mean, we think so.
Yeah.
I wish I had it this one time. I went to a Dodgers game and miscalculated something. Foul ball has never looked like a UFO.
Sometimes you get the journey you need, not the journey you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So So now, with Kanna and fungi and everything, what's the biggest difference for consumers and everyone who's out there wondering what the difference between wellness mushrooms and psychedelic mushrooms are?
Please.
It's huge. So, wellness mushrooms are considered functional mushrooms. These are considered to be like adaptogenic, or they're just meant for everyday life. You're not going to get high from them. They're just going to be really good for your body, whether it's something that helps as a nootropic like lion's mane, something that helps with energy, immunity. Those are all wellness functional mushrooms. Psychedelic mushrooms are mushrooms that you actually can hallucinate from or get high from. And that is kind of the more, for me, it seems like that's where all the interest is right now. Like, not to say that people aren't into functional mushrooms. It's just psychedelic mushrooms have had a lot of interest with mental, like people that are suffering with mental health. They've heard all these things of how microdosing and psychedelics can help. So that's kind of like that's the difference.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I was at a restaurant, Crossroads here in California. Yeah, they had a prime rib ravioli that was made with lion's mane, and they said like the healing effects of it are insane. It tasted great.
Totally.
I felt great after.
One of I think George should share, but the other company that we run, Function, was actually started because of his interest in lion's mane.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's first I was 100% into psychedelics, and then I found out about functional mushrooms just based around my family's health history of Alzheimer's and dementia. Mm-hmm. I somehow found out about lion's mane through the show I was watching and found out about the benefits. I was like, how have I never heard of this mushroom, and why am I just finding out about it now? Because my grandfather and grandmother both suffered from Alzheimer's and dementia and passed away, and I found out how beneficial lion's mane can be for that. So I instantly went down the wormhole, started deep diving, learning about all these other functional mushrooms, but lion's mane was just my top interest. So started researching it, looked into it, and wanted to start incorporating this into my life daily as much as I can for preventative. And from there I couldn't really find the products that I wanted. So I also wanted to like incorporate other things besides just lion's mane once I found out about other mushrooms and plants. So I hired a professional formulator and teamed up with her and worked on this project to create my own formula of something that was convenient for me to take and I could take with me on the go everywhere because I was always traveling, and that's how Function started. We sell tincture extracts of blends of mushrooms and plants to support everyday life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. I love that you guys are taking such a natural product and making it readily available for everyone while being able to educate them on how they should use it too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that we're seeing, at least in the functional side, is there's a lot of products out there that are either filled with crap, filled with sugar, or they taste really bad. And so the tinctures that Georgia is talking about, they taste really good. They taste like honey. They have like coconut and flax drive glycerin, which means that people want to take them, but they're not filled with any sugar and they're really potent.
That's
George
awesome.
worked really, really hard on that mushroom elixir, and you feel it. Like your brain fog is gone. You feel energized. Like even if you were at the office for like 8 hours and exhausted, you're able to get to that workout and push through. And like that is the power of functional mushrooms.
That's awesome. Now, do you guys see people in the fitness space also getting into mushrooms too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. That's also kind of like why, like, my whole life was it's like snowboarding and all these other high impact sports, which fitness is definitely part of. I have to be in great shape for that. So that's kind of one of the aspects I wanted to cover in the first tincture, was something for performance and sustained energy. And yeah, I know a lot of other people that use functional mushrooms as pre-workouts or recovery.
Totally. And
that's awesome.
Microdoses of psilocybin or psilocybin containing mushrooms are also really, really incredible and promising in the athletic space. I know a lot of people are running the LA Marathon next weekend, and it's very popular to microdose mushrooms while you're running because it can have analgesic effects. It helps you drop into your body. You feel like you're in more of a flow state, so you can get to that runner's high more easily and then keep going. And the same with Kanna. My little sister, shout out to Louisa McPherson, she's been microdosing mushrooms and Kanna together for her long runs and trained for the marathon. and it just drops her right in, because Kanna opens up your heart, it reduces pain, so you just feel better in your body. Then the mushrooms just help you like drop into that flow state and just keep going. And like Diplo, for example, he famously microdosed LSD for the LA Marathon last year.
Yep.
So I think we're gonna see more and more of that. Like the promise is there, and it's so safe. You know, like the potential is so much better than stuff like alcohol and like nicotine and everything else. So I think the promise is there for not just athletics and day to day and workers, but everyone on the planet.
That's awesome. Because I've seen Mike Tyson very famously with mushrooms lately
Love
and
them.
talking about mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then also, do you know of any mushrooms that could hit you, or Kanna that could hit you quicker than an edible does, where it's like it takes like usually for me a half hour, 45 minutes to feel the effects of it?
Yeah.
Is there any other product that's more of an instantaneous effect with it?
So I think it really just depends on your metabolism, one.
Gotcha.
But number two, we're seeing, and I hate to even bring this up, but I think it's important, we're seeing synthetic versions of psilocybin and then pure psilocybin extracts that are hitting really quickly. They can hit in like 7 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so the more down like that route people are going, the more you can get something that hits really quickly.
Gotcha.
But, you know, when we're respecting nature, right? So like true mushrooms, Kanna, like stuff takes a while, and like that's part of the practice, like some patience while it comes up and works with your system. If you want something more quick, then yeah, maybe go down the more synthetic route. See what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've even seen mushroom vapes
Oh my
already
God.
out there, like a few.
I don't know how I feel about those. I saw
I
one at the
don't-
smoke shop, and I was
Yeah.
like, $30, I'm not going to buy this.
No, I wouldn't trust it. But I mean, I did like when the first one I saw come out with someone in the space gave it to me, and I tried it just because I was curious, but it doesn't seem right. I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes away the spirit of the molecule.
Yeah, we're a
For
little
me.
bit of hippies over here though, so we definitely love the more natural route.
Yeah.
You know, we think it, like George said, it respects the spirit of the molecule and the spirit of nature. One of our mantras is that nature knows, right? And so honor her.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. That's great. That's a great way to say it too, that it takes patience.
It does.
Yeah.
Because I know people, I'm not going to say who in this room, but some may have taken a little bit more because it hadn't hit them, and it never proves to be the right move.
Totally. Well, and like we said before, sometimes you get the journey you need, not the one you want.
Yep.
I have a plant medicine mentor who always says, like, when you take more because it's not hitting, it's because like the energy of that like plant or that mushroom wants you to have a bigger experience. So it's like playing games with you. So if you subscribe to like the energetics of plant medicine, I'll leave that with you.
That's interesting. I'm going to keep that with me.
Yeah, please.
Hell yeah. That's great. And now, what's the recommended way to ingest these? Because I know from what I've heard, because I've done it wrong every single time, and every Reddit thread is different. Because with THC edibles, and for them to reach its maximum effect, they need to cling on to fattiness that's inside you. So you have to eat them on a full stomach for the full experience. How does it work with mushrooms and Kanna?
So yeah, I would say kind of opposite. Like anytime, like my experience with psychedelics is you always want to take them on an empty stomach. 'Cause if you have them on a full stomach, they just absorb into the food that's in your system, and it takes longer for it to break down and get into your system. So it could be a super delayed onset, or you might just not feel it. Might not be as potent. Some people might not feel it at all if you don't take enough. But yeah, psychedelics definitely recommend on an empty stomach so you can get the full experience.
Yeah. If you're eating raw mushrooms, so raw psilocybin containing mushrooms, if you have a sensitive stomach, have a little something in your stomach. But, you know, when they're in more like edible form, yeah, like empty stomach, or like wait a few hours before eating, like George said, you just have a more consistent onset of them. Kanna the same way, you know. I think if you're taking it for like a big effect or like a more potent effect, you just don't want to have like a ton in your stomach so you can actually feel it, right? Kind of like people who like have a big dinner and then they like take shots of tequila. You're not gonna feel it as strongly. So yeah, that's what we would say. And then in terms of dosage, I know a lot of people here might be listening for mental health, like microdosing. Massive fan of it. Highly recommend. I definitely tend to the lower side and then tell people to work up. I believe a true microdose is one that's not only sub-hallucinogenic but sub-perceptual. So you might just be feeling something a little bit, but you're more feeling the effects after the end of the day. Like, wow, I was a lot calmer today. Like, my mind was a lot more clear. I felt more connected to my body. And those dosages are starting around like 50 to 100 milligrams, 150 milligrams. And then once we get up into the 200 milligram range, we're definitely going into more of like a mini dose. Then into like a social dose, which is like 200, 300 beyond. So start low, go slow, and see how it works. On the Kanna end, it's kind of interesting because the way that Kanna works in extracts, you can get different alkaloid percentages. So we work with Kanna that is concentrated to 5% alkaloids and it's 85% mesembrine. Mesembrine is one of like the star alkaloids in Kanna. With that, we're looking at about 50 milligrams, and that's going to be like a pretty good dose. Our Kanna elixir on the function side is only 20 milligrams. Do your research when you're looking at Kanna, but 20 to 40 milligrams is a really good like microdose, and then you can work your way up from there. For bigger doses, people usually go for like 100, maybe 200 milligrams, but you might need a stimulant to add to it. So Kanna, while it's called Nature's MDMA, there's no amphetamines in it. It doesn't have a stimulating effect. So if that's something that you want, like pair it with mushrooms, absolutely. Like pair it with caffeine. I really liked it paired with LSD. But explore, go low, and see what feels good. Anything to add?
No, you nailed it on the head. but yeah, I think when you go back to like with cannabis edibles, like eating them on a full stomach, I actually never knew that. So I have this really bad experience with cannabis edibles. I can't do cannabis edibles. I've had them a few different times, and
I do too.
I remember I can't eat cannabis edibles, but I can handle any type of amount of mushroom edibles. So my first time of like really having a bad experience with cannabis edibles, I remember it was like I was living in Lake Tahoe at the time, and I had just kind of moved out from the East Coast and got to experience my first cannabis dispensary. They had a dosed clam chowder. Like they literally had like gourmet mason jars of soups, and there was a clam chowder that had, I forget what the dosage was, but I didn't even look on it because I was like, oh my God, I can eat clam chowder that looks bomb and get high from it. So I wasn't really looking at the label, and I remember I was about to make dinner. I was like, oh, I have this clam chowder. Let's like have this as an appetizer. So I poured the whole mason jar in and like split it with my friend and had about a bowl full. And then we like went and just sat on the couch, started watching a movie before making dinner. I never forget, like I almost told my friend to bring me to the hospital. My heart's like, I started getting the worst anxiety. I could not even, I thought I was going to stop breathing. Like my heart was like just going in and out. Never got to make dinner. And yeah, ever since then, I'm so sensitive to cannabis. And I don't think I had too much, but cannabis edibles just hit me so hard.
They hit. It's so unexpected. When I was in college, I think I was a sophomore, and I went to school in New Hampshire where everyone's country good and low. There's nothing to do but like drink and smoke and like snowboard, right? And I remember I was with my friends in like the Sustainable Agriculture Club, and we were just like all hanging out, and they're all like super crunchy, right? They're all like making their own like edibles all the time, like making wine in bathtubs, like that sort of thing. And they bring me this vegan pumpkin bread made with coconut oil that's dosed, and I was like, great, let me try this. And he was like, it's not that potent. And I was like, okay. So I just take like one little slice. And he's like, no. You need to eat like half the thing. It's really not potent. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I'm like a sophomore. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, 20? And I eat it. And I got so high. My friends had to carry me back to my dorm room. And I was high for 3 days straight. 3 days. I kept going to bed and waking up still high. And there's a video of me somewhere on the internet of me going to like the cafeteria or whatever, and then making pasta filled with chocolate syrup and like lettuce and like trying to eat it. And they were like, what are you doing? Yeah, so. Amazing. I don't like edibles.
Quoting the great Mike Tyson in The Hangover, we all do fucked up shit when we're fucked up.
I know.
Hell yeah. So how can everyone keep up with Fungi? What's the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, if you guys have a TikTok, and I know you guys have a merch line too that you guys are starting to roll out, and I see it on George right now.
Yeah, we the merch has been been waiting to launch it for a long time. People, just like friends of friends, have obviously seen it. I've started making them like a year ago, just been waiting to release it. So it's the merch line we have is limited edition. First, we're only doing this style for the first run. Once we sell out, we're then gonna phase into like second edition. So we want to keep them like limited runs, so it's something that's unique, and it's like you're not going to be able to get the same thing every time.
Mm-hmm.
But keep up with us. Our Instagram, Fungi, Fungui. We now officially launched fungi.com, which is spelled Fungui.com. We just started a TikTok finally.
Yeah.
We're not really like big TikTokers, but we know we kind of need to have it. And
We'll get there. We'll get there. If you're a big TikToker and you want to help us out, give us a shout, please.
I would just say always be careful though, because Fungi, the Instagram page, has been around as like a brand awareness page for a while. We've always faced difficulties with scammers. Scammers are huge on Instagram, and they see something that's cool. They see how they could take advantage, and they rip our photos off. They will create an Instagram handle, spout one letter off, and they target us. So what they'll do is, like, if you follow our actual page, there's a chance you might get followed by a scam account that spout one letter off. They try and trick you. They will message you and try and get you to buy stuff, and they scam people. So just be very careful. I always try and warn everyone about that. There's only so much we can do to protect people by warning them, but it's like, it's out of our hands. So that's one thing. I'll just be conscious. We only have our one Instagram page, Fungi, and
because Instagram's not going to verify you guys, I don't think.
No.
Unfortunately.
We're working on it.
Oh no, you can get verified easily.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah.
So it's in the works.
I remember how hard it was for every cannabis brand as soon as it was legal in California.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. The only way to do anything, and then social media just ruins it.
Yeah, they do.
But we have hope. So yeah, that's the best way to find us.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming by. I'm really excited to try Kanna for the first time. Definitely going to let everyone on my show know about my first experience with Fungi Kanna. And, man, thank you again for coming by. It's an awesome thing you guys are doing, and I can't wait till more people know about this and more California sober friends are kind of in the loop about Kanna and Fungi.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. I'll see you guys soon.
See you soon.
All right,
Bye.
See you soon.